Not me. That's not me.
Oh,
Not
that's not
me.
you.
No. You confused me with the other podcaster guy, Wadcast podcast that you did with Eddie If.
Oh, sorry.
It's
I thought
okay.
you also live in Malibu or you stayed in Malibu.
No, sir. I
No.
am about 300 miles north of him in a
Okay.
small town called Santa Cruz.
Oh, Santa Cruz. That's
Yes,
where
sir.
RPM is, Shane, and that's good.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good to see you.
Yeah, same.
You're in Las Vegas right now.
I am, yes, correct.
Christian
Yeah,
Toetzke.
yeah. Toetzke, we say. In
Wh-
German, we say Toetzke.
Say it
It's
again.
very hard for you to say.
Say it.
Toetzke.
Toetzke.
Toet- yeah, yeah, very good.
You just gave up on me.
No, I know, I didn't.
Uh,
Not
um,
easy.
what time did you wake up this morning?
I woke up like 30 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, good. Guys, we are so lucky to have Christian on the show today. Basically, what's going on this weekend is the World Championships for Hyrox. I know most of you know what Hyrox is because of the amazing Hunter McIntyre, who's a frequent guest of the show and a great gentleman, a great sportsman, and just a great role model for all
Yeah.
of humanity. Uh, and the Hyrox event's an incredible event. I'll run through it real quick. It's a 1,000-meter run, 1,000-meter skier, 1,000-meter run, 50-meter sled push, a heavy sled, I might add. For the big boys, it is 175 pounds, then a 1,000-meter run, then a sled pull 50 meters, 125 kilograms, then run 1,000 meters. Then this one's brutal. Burpee broad jumps 80 meters, run 1,000 meters, row 1,000 meters, run 1,000 meters, farmer carry 200 meters with two heavy kettlebells, run 1,000 meters, lunge 100 meters with a 45-pound sandbag on your shoulders, run 1,000 meters, and then 100 wall balls. Fastest time in the world is around 55 minutes by the great Hunter McIntyre. And then regular human beings like me do it in 3 hours, and the slowest time maybe in the world is 3 hours and 35 minutes, which is also as anyone who does fitness knows, is an impressive feat just to be on your feet that long. When I heard that number, I thought, oh, I'd like to see Hunter do it in 3:35. Like literally, okay, let's leave you out there for 3 hours and 35 minutes. See what happens to you. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, absolutely correct. I mean, it's impressive what we see because we have every ability of athletes, as you say, from 55 minutes, which is unbelievable. And you think it's impossible for a human being other than a hunter, and up to 3 hours and something. So that's the whole idea of Hyrox, that everyone can do it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, infinitely scalable. Everyone is welcome. The largest indoor participatory event in the world. Christian, what's the minimum, what's the smallest venue you've done it in? Smallest amount of square feet?
It was roughly around 100,000 square feet.
Oh, that's the smallest.
Yeah, that's roughly the smallest footprint we have. So it's really, really big. So usually we do it at 150,000 to 200,000 feet, so square feet.
uh, let's go. I want to go back a little bit. You're born in Germany.
I am, yeah.
Okay, so sorry, one more thing before I go back to your childhood. This event officially starts today, right? The World
Yes,
Championships kind of weekend.
absolutely. Well, today we have the opening ceremony. We have amazingly 1,200 athletes from 22 countries that travel to Las Vegas. Like literally everyone is not from Las Vegas.
Mhm.
Of course, we have the
Do you have any Armenians? Any Armenians?
Unfortunately, not because it would actually
Mm.
open the award ceremony. But we have Australia and Austria. So
Oh, it starts with an A. I like that. Okay, good,
yeah,
good.
next year. But yeah, that's today's the opening ceremony. Then tomorrow is race day. From 8:30 onwards, we have in every age group, and as you know, everyone is doing exactly the same. We have all the World Championship divisions, and then the final highlight of the season and of the day is 6 p.m. What we call the Elite 15. These are the best 15 male and female athletes across the season. So this is when Hunter McIntyre is racing it out head to head with the other 14 best guys. And the women do the same. It's almost like at the same time. So It's the stadium concept setup is a little bit different for this event now than the other age group events. It's really great to watch. It's sub 1 hour, as you said. So everyone is welcome to come out. If you're coincidentally you are in Las Vegas, which can happen, and you want to see some amazing fitness, everyone is invited and everyone can spectate.
Is this correct? Is this good morning in German? Guten Morgen?
Yeah, that's very correct, actually.
It is. Wow. I thought they were just making fun of you. Okay, well, good.
No,
That's what my audience does. They just make fun of me and the guest the entire time.
that's
That
nice.
was.
Yeah, I like it.
So 6 p.m. May 14th. That's tomorrow in Las Vegas. How much are the tickets if I want to come watch?
It's $20 for to come, but that's for the whole day, of course. There's also beer and wine if you want to have some entertainment next to the racing. But I think people will be thrilled. Apparently it's one race, right? From which kicks off, starts at 6 and then finishes 1 hour later. It's very exciting. It's very close, head-to-head racing. Great to watch. Everyone is invited to come out.
In the way I'm told, the way this event is set up, and from what the little bit I've gleaned from the internet, is you can follow. It's kind of, there's a little bit of a golf component, meaning you at the start you can be there with your beer, and when Hunter takes off, you watch him take off on the 1,000, and then you can switch positions and get closer to the sled push. Then he runs the 1,000, and then the audience can move closer to the sled pull. You can get different vantage points to see where they do the movements other than the running.
Absolutely correct. Actually, that is a great expression, Siron. I never have used that before, but it's exactly what it works like this. When you watch your family or friends or whoever is racing, you go from workout to workout with them, because this is how we have designed the whole setup. So you are always very close to the next workout, and of course you see them on the run as well. But that's why it's very intense. And other than any other mass participation event where usually you see them at the start and then whatever 1 hour later when they finish for a few seconds, you really, really see the whole race and can follow everyone.
Are there any characters? We know Hunter McIntyre is a character, and I'm guessing, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I'm guessing he's brought a lot of attention just because of his personality and his efforts to get out there. Do you have any other characters forming? Like whether they're like CrossFit has Dave Castro, right? And they have Nicole Carroll, and then they have they have these different people. Or like football kind of has some people too, but their faces are covered, so you just kind of get the quarterbacks, Are there other people who are characters forming within your community so that there's sort of a narrative?
Yeah,
because it's hard finding stuff about you. It's hard stuff about you, Christian.
Really?
Toetzke.
No, we have a large number of characters. You find every kind of people. We are already a very international sport, so it's very interesting to see how different the people are. It was very funny. So unfortunately, our reigning world champion, who's a German guy, Tobias Lautwan.
Oh yes, Tobias Lautwan.
Yeah. He's injured, so he's not able to race, unfortunately. But he was just a video message, and he's exactly 100% the opposite of Hunter McIntyre. So he's like very German, very focused. I don't want to say dry humor, but no. But we have, we are working on faces, of course. We have Sarah Kolti is a very interesting figure from Germany in the women's race. She has quite interesting stories to tell. We have, my partner is a very charismatic guy, Moritz Fürste. He created the whole Hyrox concept together with me, and he's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist and
wow,
kind of a little, how do you say, sports celebrity in Germany. You don't know him in the US, but
what were his events? Christian?
Yeah, I don't want to say it because you don't know what kind of a sport this is. Actually, he won. He was the best field hockey player in the world.
Yeah, I know field hockey. Yes.
We had a couple of in the US. We had a couple of discussions with people there. What is this? Hockey. And I
It's,
said ice hockey. No, it's not ice hockey. It's actually the same, but not on ice. Never
yeah.
heard about this sport. However, maybe Armenians play it. I'm not so sure because
If it's inexpensive, the Armenians play it.
it can be
You.
very inexpensive. It depends.
Oh, okay. Well, then they don't play it. Christian also, for those of you who don't know, is and I'm sure a bunch of you don't know, is an extremely accomplished decathlete. He tried to make the 1988 Olympics. At the time, he was like sixth or seventh best in Germany at the decathlon. And then you stayed in that world and you pivoted to starting your own events, right? Your first event was a cycling event, is that correct? Uh-oh, did I lose you? Is your internet bad, Christian?
No, I'm here. Yeah, it was a little bit broke up for a second.
Did you hear any of that? So your first event. So in 1988, you had aspirations of going to the Olympics yourself.
I had, yeah, indeed. I did decathlon, but unfortunately at that time, Germany was the strongest nation in the world with regards to decathletes. So I think we had like the top three next to Daley Thompson. So the older people in the room might know the name. He was a famous UK icon, two times gold medal winner in decathlon at the games. And it was very hard to qualify. You only have three positions, right? Every country can maximum send 3 athletes to the games. And it's a very hard work. It's a lot of training with no money involved when you're not really on the world's top. And so I had to give up relatively young because I had the feeling I will probably not make it. And I have to make some money. So unfortunately, this dream never came true. But I then joined the Olympics later because of my job multiple times. So I had a little bit of Olympic feeling.
Tell me about your job that had you cross paths with the Olympics again.
Well, my whole career is in creating sport events and creating sport products and sell them. That's a funny story. I'd never had the plan to be in the sports industry. So I studied macroeconomics and I worked at an advertising agency, which I thought was quite boring. But we had a client, and the client said it was an energy company in Germany, and they said we made a research, and it came out that cycling can be a very interesting sport for us. And can you not do something with cycling? And advertising agencies say, yeah, what if they want an event, but how stupid is that idea? We are producing commercials. And I thought this is actually quite interesting. And I wrote down a concept for a cycling event that was brand new and was a new approach, though it was, as you know, a very traditional sport. It's really big in Europe. I think meanwhile also in the US, but Tour de France and everything. And I called it Marathon on Wheels. Which was funny at that time. It was the first event ever who said we combined pro racing and everybody, like a mass participation cycling event, and we're closing the streets of Hamburg. And the funny story was, so I presented this at the agency, and everyone said, never, what a stupid idea this is. And so I gave it a little bit off the record. I presented this concept to the chief marketing officer, and he liked it so much that he called me if I can organize it. And suddenly I had to do an event and I had no idea I was 25.
What year was this, Christian? What year was this?
1995.
Okay.
So I was young. I had absolutely no idea. So I had to create a company, and I organized this event, which then became one of the biggest cycling events in the world. And now today you have mass participation cycling events everywhere.
Did that energy company end up selling that event?
No, I used to own the IP and the race and everything.
Wow.
Is a founding partner, headline sponsor.
Who was the energy company was?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they trusted me and they gave me I think it was 400,000 Deutschmark at that time. And I had, that's how I started suddenly being in this game of creating sport events. And I always, from the start, I what we call mass participation events, so where you bring pro athletes and thousands of every average Joes to the start line, which of course the marathon events were already getting very popular at that time. But it was still the very beginning of all of that. There was no obstacle racing. There was nothing, right? Cycling had no mass participation element at that time. And then, yeah, so I got into this. Then I started my own company, and we were producing a lot of cycling events. And I got into triathlon.
Tell me the name of that company. Tell me the name of that company.
It's still the same name, Absolute Sports. Yeah,
And
Absolute Sports with UP at the beginning, little word game.
So it's kind of an IMG.
Yes, correct.
A European version.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and were your events focused primarily in Europe?
At that time, yes. And then I sold that company to a French media giant called Lagardère. People will not know it, but they own Elle magazine, stuff like this. And the owner wanted to get into sport, and he wanted to compete with IMG. So he invested massive amount of money to buy a lot of companies, put them together, and wanted to create one of the leading sports marketing companies in the world. Yeah, competing with IMG on the same level. And then, so he also acquired my company, and then I had to stay, and I became the CEO of what we called Lagardère Events. So we acquired a lot of sport events from tennis, golf, PGA, ATP.
Wow.
Football friendlies, and a lot. And we created a large amount of mass participation events then everywhere in the world. So that's when I started to work in global responsibility, which was very interesting because you learn about how different the countries are and how similar they are. And I did this for some years, and then I said, but I always wasn't more an entrepreneur, so not really the typical corporate guy. So I stepped out of that 2016 because I had this idea of creating something in fitness, and that was the birth hour, or whatever, however you want to call it, of Hyrox. So I had this idea for a while, and I started to develop it further, and then I said, I want to do that. So I left the corporate world and started Absolute Sports again. Same name, different company.
No shit, same name.
And but we only do Hyrox, so we can also call the company Hyrox. We have only one idea, one product, one determination, and that's to change the world of fitness a little bit with our product.
Has anyone tried to buy it from you already?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Congratulations. And you're not ready to sell it?
Well, we have an investor on board, because what we do requires, especially in the beginning, large amount of funding, because we want to create a global movement, a global sport. So we want to be we already are in 8 markets in the US and in Europe, but we want to be in every relevant country in the world in the next 4 years. And
what does that mean, 8 markets? What does a market mean?
Oh, that's a country or region. So when I mean 8 markets, it's Germany, Austria, Switzerland, the UK, the Netherlands, Scandinavia next season, the United States of America. So, but that's what we call markets.
Anyone who this is one of the interesting things. So I worked over at CrossFit Inc. for 15 years. I was in charge of the media over there from the beginning till I got fired. Till Greg sold the company and the new team fired me. I was part of the toxic culture. Right. And one of the greatest things about things that started popping up in the fitness ecosystem is you have all these people going to these affiliates and they have nowhere to express their fitness. So something like Hyrox comes up and it's like, yeah. I have to assume, I mean, it seems like the thing that all my friends would want to do because they need a place to express their fitness, right? You do all of this training and there's nowhere to express it. And to do CrossFit for the sake of CrossFit, I mean, sure, fine. But what a nice thing to have. Is there any separation in the communities, or is it just one? Is this whole thing? There's like, it seems like everything's just kind of blending together now. I mean, you see a ton of CrossFitters also doing, thank you. You see a ton of CrossFitters like also doing marathons, half marathons, right? You see them entering weightlifting competitions. Hyrox almost seems like the perfect place for a CrossFitter to test themselves.
Well, no, 100%. It's definitely blending in a way that I think what we see now, which is getting bigger is the sport of fitness, in a way that everyone find a competition that suits you. That's the difference. And we love CrossFit. It's an amazing product. But when I created Hyrox, the approach was always to create something which is a competition that is really open for everyone. It doesn't matter how fit and strong you are.
Right.
And this is a different approach. We started Hyrox from the beginning purely as an event company that is producing these competitions or these races. With CrossFit in the beginning was a form of training, right? So
right.
They had this gym, this CrossFit box concept. It was more like a franchise licensing concept in the beginning, and then
but no, not really, really. No, sir.
But then they created. I just want to say, like I said, it's amazing, but they created the events, and the events are more based around elite events. So the best of the best, and they come together and do this. So
everything at CrossFit was, believe it or not, this is maybe going to sound a little hard to believe. Everything was on accident.
No, I know 100%. I believe it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, hey, let's work. It was like if you had unprotected sex with your wife.
Yeah, I know.
Then you had a baby. Oh shit! It was an accident.
Yeah, I know.
It's just powerful forces coming together, Christian, and the rest was an accident. Okay.
No. When you look at this, I know immediately that it was never planned from the beginning that it will end up like this. So the way how the events are structured, etc. I think that was us just coming. I don't know. Someone came up with that, and then bang, this is something we take. So we tried this is a different approach from the beginning. And what I believe is that fitness events, and I have to say what this means, because what is fitness? Of course, when you run a marathon, it's fitness too. And if you do an obstacle race, it's fitness too.
Yes.
What I mean is gym fitness. Does it make any sense as an expression? So what people do in a gym, which means you have barbells, you have whatever sleds, you have dumbbells,
lat pull down machine,
where you run, and that's the point. Of course, the majority of the people that are a member in a gym are not lifting weights. This is simply the reality. So most of the people run and do functional fitness. But when you go Equinox or whatever, F45, Barry's Bootcamp, Orange Theory Fitness, whatever name it, LA Fitness. So we believe, and that's in the first place when we created that, we created it for everyone who's not doing CrossFit, because CrossFit is an amazing product, great community. And they have this community thing, and they have these kind of competition. You have the workout of the day, you can do the open. And if you are really, really good, you can go to the regionals or to one of the top events. But we believe that there are millions and millions of people below or outside of CrossFit that also love fitness and go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. And now that was our first target group, and now they have an event. So we say they have a purpose to train for. But funnily, of course, we see a lot of CrossFit members coming to our events because they love it too.
Of course.
They try something.
Of course, yes.
Try something different. And when I talk to also like professional CrossFit athletes, they think it's a great thing to add to your training, because it's more cardio based. It gives, it's definitely increasing your capacity, your cardio capacity and everything, which helps you also in shorter, more CrossFit workouts that are dramatically shorter, more and like super intense. But so it's blending for sure, and we bring this a little bit together with people coming from the OCR community, from triathlon, from marathon running. But a lot of people are really new because they were just going to the gym and they never had a competition where they exactly do what they train in the gym, and the event is based around that. And I think that's a new thing, and why it's really, really, it's picking up so well. Yeah,
it's infinitely scalable also, which is brilliant, right? Like, let's say I could do 10% of everything. I could reduce the run to 100 meters. I could cut the reps down by 90%, and I could just make it just a quick workout I do at my house.
Yeah. So I had a lot of narratives or principles when I put this together, which took a long time. There's actually quite a lot of science behind it. So it's not actually this random, as you said, at CrossFit. It was just
accident.
It was not an accident. It's not created by accident. So I also wanted to create what I call some of the healthiest sports in the world you can do, because when you talk to experts and everything, it's important that a healthy sport is something where you don't do certain movements like in a very, very large amount of the time. So always the same movement and nothing else. That is always good in the beginning and then becomes a problem after a while. You need to mix different stuff in your training if you can be really good and you can be competitive without the absolute need to do something with max weights. It helps you to avoid injuries. So that's why we created it, that all the workouts, people asking me why these workouts, because all these workouts are natural movements. You don't need certain skills for it, though. To do this like Hunter McIntyre, it's an unbelievable skill set and requires endless hours of training over years. But everyone can push a sled. I mean, it might take you a long time because we have really heavy sleds, but you can push a sled. You don't need to, even if you have never pushed a sled, you can do it, right? When you sign up randomly for the race. And the other part is that the distance, why is it 8 kilometers of running and 8 workouts? It's exactly at the borderline of length that you still can be really well prepared when you do 1 hour training shifts. You don't need to do the 3-4 hour things, which is socially sometimes actually really difficult. Right. Like in marathon, so I was also involved in Ironman, etc. You have to basically leave your social life.
Right.
And you go, now I go for a little ride of 6 hours and I follow by a 2-hour run.
Right.
So, darling, you see me back in 8 hours, which is not a very typical thing. That
really goes from training to mental illness, I think.
Yeah, well, also you're alone forever on the bike, so you have too much time to think about everything. So, and you train 1 hour, and you're really well prepared, and you mix your training, as you say. You can shorten the runs. You do always this interval training of short runs, workouts. And the cardio part can be rowing, can be ski erg, not only running, right? So, that's what it is, and I call it the marathon of fitness effect, which is.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's a perfect name for it. I just want to be clear about one thing. Just to clarify, and this isn't for you. This is for me, out of the respect for CrossFit. The methodology was not an accident. The business was an accident. That's what I meant.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
I don't mean it. I didn't mean it in a bad way.
Okay, good. Yeah, and I didn't think you did. Guys, what's so when he says that they're in 8 markets, these are the cities that you can go play in: Dallas, Houston, Boston, Los Angeles, Madison, Chicago, New York, and Denver. I think this year alone they've already done. Have you done 30 events already this year, or you have 30 total the whole year?
No, this season. So our season is always like roughly from October till May.
Okay.
We did 30 events in our 8 markets. Yeah. So you can go to, as you know, this is a US schedule, but we have every beautiful city in Europe on the list, from Amsterdam, Madrid, London, Berlin. You can actually go to every amazing city and do a Hyrox event there.
Yeah, this is really cool. And what I'm getting from you and what I'm understanding is I don't know what the percentage is, so bear with me here. I'm being loose with my tongue, but I'm guessing 95% of the people who do a marathon do it to check it off the box to complete. And this is that type of event. For a lot of people, this is a competition against yourself. You see this list of stuff you have to do, and it looks so daunting. Right. But it's actually doable. And not only is it doable, but you have 1 month, 2 month, and 3 month training regiments on your website that people could follow. It's even a great resource for all of the CrossFit affiliates. So like if you knew that Hyrox was coming to Dallas and you had an affiliate in Dallas, you could be like, okay, guys, for the next 3 months, we're going to have a class that meets every morning at 7 a.m. and we're going to follow this 5-day-a-week program that Hyrox has provided. And then as a group, we're going to go and compete it, or not even compete, participate at Hyrox, do the event, and then drink a bunch of beer and take a picture with Christian.
Yeah. Or in front of our Hall of Fame, a wall of fame.
Wall of Fame.
That's exactly the idea. And it combines the whole gym because everyone can do it, right? And then everyone goes to the competition and everyone is doing the competition. And as you might have, probably also we also offer a double where you do the whole thing together with a partner. That means you still run the 8 kilometers, but you share the workouts.
Okay.
It's definitely a significantly easier first step into a higher.
I love it.
And it works. This is so successful because you can do it with your wife. So we have mixed, we have men's doubles and women's doubles. So whoever you want your partner is, your friend, you can do it with him. And it's great. You train together, you have a common goal, but like everyone, right? Like I said, every abilities of doubles from super fast to super slow, but everyone is like, okay, we are challenging ourselves this next weekend, or we do this event. And then, like you say, we offer these training programs and they have a real purpose to train and they have a focus and they do this together for 3 months. And I think that's a great, or the idea about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Christian, what movement was this close to making it into the 8 that that got pushed out?
We had flipping a tire over like maybe 100. And there are always like physical and logistical reasons why we have not decided to put this in. Because you have to understand, next season we will do 54 events. They're all really, really large events, and we work like a rock concert tour. So we have like 6 trucks and trailers, and where all the equipment and everything is on the trucks, and they go from event to event. So we always have to also consider how much volume I need in the truck for one workout, and and if you have this massive truck tires to do the tire flip, it becomes like and lifting something where you with your back and you have to go down, and we did all the testings, right? And we thought that might be dangerous for some people that are not so well trained that they hurt their back when they do not the right movement. Or like monkey bars, that was also very close. We tested it out. So you have to do like 30 meters of monkey bars or something, but it has to be inclusive. And
monkey bars. Okay.
And I don't know why, but women have a real average women, like not the super fit ones, but they have real issues in completing that. So it doesn't matter how much time you give them, they always fail. If it's like
the monkey bars.
Yeah. If it's 30 meters.
When we were in school, those little boys, they were good at them.
Yeah, right. Very good.
Do you remember that? You're like, how are those girls doing that?
But there were plenty other workouts. We did all the tests and what is the best. And then you have to combine it in a smart way. So you have to really use every muscle of your body when you do the 8 workouts. And you can still discuss it if it would have been a good idea to maybe do another workout than this one we have right now, but it works so well and everyone is so happy with it. And that's very important. It's uniform. It's exactly defined how it is. It's a little bit more the Olympic approach to sport. 100-meter running is not a very complex discipline in the first place, but it's extremely complex to run it in 9.5.
Right. The barrier to entry is very low.
Yeah. But to do it in perfection, it's like it's a science, right? It takes you forever. And I mean, it's more complex than this, but you know what you have to do, and so that's why it works as a mass participation event, because people are not scared that we are announcing a workout where they know immediately, okay, I'm out, I can't do that. It doesn't matter how much time I have, I'm not able to complete that. So every more average people, that average fit, they are scared about something like that, so they would not come out and do that. So here, you know exactly what you have to do, even though it's tough. It's a real challenge on the day. So you have to
seriously tough. Yep.
Definitely prepare yourself to do it, which is also, we want this accomplishment, right? That's why I say, like marathon running, it's nothing you do every Saturday to run a marathon. It's bloody long. It requires training, but everyone is super proud just to finish it. And that's really true. It's amazing if people do this. And if you finish in 3 hours, you did minimum the same crazy and amazing thing like a Hunter McIntyre. It's just a different motivation and a different angle.
If anyone wants to see
that, yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
To fight yourself through this whole course and whatever, 2 hours, that's a great accomplishment. And that's what Hyrox is all about.
Tomorrow at 6 p.m., the World Championships will start. You can go to the Hyrox anytime. The actual party starts today. It's in Las Vegas. What building is it? The Las Vegas Convention Center?
Correct. South Hall 3.
Las Vegas Convention Center, Hall 3. And it only costs $20. And man, how exciting would it be? Could this be, I want to ask you about Hunter in 1 second, but what event do you think, I want you to try to read my mind. What movement if I could put a movement in there, I'm sure I would ruin Hyrox. Do you know what movement I would put in there as a CrossFitter? What's the movement that all the CrossFitters think is missing?
You definitely would some kind of a weight workout in.
No, I'm old. I'm an old baby. No weights. I like the weights perfect. I'm an old baby. I'm wondering I would put a pull-up in, but now after hearing you talk, I understand why there's not a pull-up in there. The goal is, you don't want to some people are going to see that, a world-class marathoner is going to see that and be like, 100 pull-ups is too much. Because I remember when I first started CrossFit, I was like, 100 pull-ups? Are you guys fucking nuts?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And everything there can be done. Even your wall ball's 14 pounds for the professional men.
I know it better in kilograms. It's 9 kilograms for the pro man.
Okay. Maybe that is 20 pounds.
6 kilograms. 9 is 20 pounds. 6 kilograms is 14. Okay. And 4 kilograms are for regular women or open women. The open women's division. And that's a good example. Pull-ups. Trust me, if we did the test, if you go out on the street and you ask average fit women, and we want all the women to come out and also do competitions, usually it's super male infused. Like every mass participation event, you have like 80% guys on the start line, and they testosterone. And sometimes women are a little bit intimidated by this, and they think, I don't want this sheer competition and all this blood, sweat, and tears. But I like to do it, but I'm not sure. So if you target these amazing athletes too, but many of them have a real issue, for instance, with pull-ups. Right. It's a classical thing that even push-ups is for many women it's not that easy, especially
or even these skinny men, even these like men who come from a serious running background.
You have to do 100 of them.
Right.
You rule out too many other. Though the wall balls work because you can make a rest and I don't know, works better. It still takes you maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes to do them, but
and you have to be strong to do 20-pound wall balls. Yeah. To do. I mean, you have to be very, very strong. I don't think it's missing the weightlifting component. I mean, I see what you're saying, but it has that heavy lunge bag. That's not. I mean, this thing is hard. This thing's not a joke.
Trust me, it's definitely hard. Yeah, you know when you wake up the next morning and you walk down the stairs, you know what. Yeah, and it hurts. It's probably even more. It sucks everything out of your body because it's the length. It's really very different to Hyrox, to CrossFit workouts where you are totally, of course, done, like 15 minutes all in.
Yeah.
You fall down, but you recover faster. If you do something 1.5 hours, everything you had in your body, every kind of energy at the end is out. And so it takes you longer to recover, and you have this beautiful feeling of all the muscle pain and everything the next morning, but you have a great feeling you did something extraordinary, and you fight yourself through this, very long challenge. But but at the end, this is also the beauty of it. So as I said earlier, that we want people to be really proud if they finish one, right? Not to be the fastest person to do it.
That being said, you did 30 events in this year's season, 54 events in next year's season. Are there nuances to the courses that make certain arenas faster? Like places where the floor might be different. Like, hey, if you want to set the world record, you should do it in Hamburg, Germany. Or if you're not good at pushing the sled, you shouldn't do it in Dallas. Or are there different nuances that the athletes are starting to learn that come with Hyrox?
Not really. So we take it extremely serious that it's a legit competition at every event for everyone who's doing it. So we have a very complex timing system. You get a timing chip. We track everything you do. You get a full breakdown of your race, like every kilometer, what your running time was, every workout, how much time you spend in the rock zone. And every race in total is 8.7 kilometers long, because I have to explain that you run the 8 kilometers, but you run into what we call the rock zone. This is an area where you have the 8 workout stations. And you run through an in arch, and then you run to your next workout. And then you run to an out arch where you start your run again.
Mm-hmm.
And that distance is sometimes different, because depending on the shape of the hall, because they are different. Sometimes they have columns, sometimes it's a rectangle, sometimes it's a square. So the setup is different, but the distance everyone is completing in total running is at every event, it's 8.7 kilometers. So
how about the number of turns in the run? Is it always the same?
And that's a good point. That makes a race a little bit faster or slower. If you have less turns, longer straight runs, it helps you to gain some seconds on the run, rather than having sometimes, usually we always have only 4 turns, because, we run around, but sometimes there is something in the hall and you have to do, so suddenly you have 2 or 3 or 4 more turns.
Like a zigzag or something.
Not 90, like a zigzag, not 90-degree turns. So
right.
that makes it maybe a little bit slower. Important to say, everywhere in the world, at every event, we use exactly the same carpet.
Okay.
And the same sleds. It's funny because people think it's heavier in the US than in Europe, or the other way around. This is definitely not true with regards to the equipment. There might be miracles, because we sometimes also have the feeling at some events it was heavier than at others, but we use exactly the same configuration. But there might be some impact of the humidity in the air and stuff like this, which you think is crazy.
Sure.
But, it makes the carpet is then more wet, and that makes it more heavy to push the sled. Which sounds crazy because you are indoors, but when you are in Miami, the humidity is extremely high, right? And it's also inside the case. So there might be little weird influences that make a little difference, but it's not material.
Even in your sport that you come from, track and field, the nuances are important. Isn't it even like if there's like a 10-mile-an-hour wind or more at your back, you can't set and you break the world record, it doesn't count? Or they have rules like that in track and field, right? If it's a windy day and you break the world record, it's like
100-meter running, if you have like a thunderstorm coming from the back, it's not officially a world record. So exactly. Which I like.
Nuances.
You know what I also tell my team? They're like, I think, a sport needs that. You need this discussion. The sled was heavier. This was slower, or that was a fast race. This is like baseball. What we do when we see a hockey game or whatever. What do we discuss? We discuss, that decision from the refs was a that was a mistake, or you're discussing it up and down. Was it the wrong decision or not the right decision? You talk about these kind of things. I think that makes it interesting. People want to talk about that.
Yes,
And
the ice melts faster in this stadium. The pucks in China are a little bit harder than the pucks in Russia, and which are different than the pucks in the US. There should be all sorts of that's what makes it fun. Yeah,
movements we get, it's crazy, which I love. I love it. You see how involved the community is. They're shooting videos, and then someone is not on the top level only, like on the age group level, like someone, whatever, finishing in 15th position, you get a video from number 16 and you think, he didn't do that movement right, etc. So he should have gotten more no reps, etc. Which I think maybe they are right, but I think it's a judging decision,
right,
in that moment. So we are not doing. So far, we don't have the video with the video
instant replay,
and then we take a decision, because that doesn't work for our sport. It's the same in CrossFit, right? At the games, it's in that moment the judge is taking a decision, and everyone has to accept that. And they might be wrong sometimes, and they usually are right. But and it's now not always exactly 1000% the same between different judges. But that's sport. That's what sport is about. And but that shows me how serious the people take it, which is exactly what we want. We want to create a very serious sport, and it's a new sport of fitness, which we call fitness racing, by the way. But so we think we're creating a new category that wasn't existing. Like people say, I do CrossFit. I want people to say, or they say right now already, I'm a fitness racer. That's the idea, and that's the beauty of it. And that's what we want to accomplish further in the next years.
Where do people? This is the first World Championships you're streaming live, right?
No, not really. We were always streaming the World Championships live, but the first ones. Look, we are just in year 3, right?
I know. It's crazy how fast it's grown. It's crazy. And you had to take a year off because of some fat people got sick. Yeah.
Almost 2. So now it's amazing. That's why it's also only our 3rd season, because we had to stop for 2 years. Usually for a young new product, it's a killer. So we are very lucky and very happy.
Another reason to do Hyrox, so you don't have to play this game that with WHO and your local government. You can just be like, I'm healthy and fit, and I'm going to hang out with my healthy and fit friends. Okay, sorry, I interrupted. How do people watch this? Like tomorrow at 6 o'clock, I want to crack a beer. And be like, go Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. So go. It's a live stream we do together with Obstacle Racing Media. And there should be a link on our website, hyrox.com, or on one of our Instagram channels. You will find this tomorrow, which is Hyrox World or Hyrox America. And then you just click in, and then you can see the live stream of the lead racing. What we do for the first time, and you were the best example of that. We always admired your work you did for CrossFit, these documentaries.
Yeah.
That's also what actually I was watching that. And I said, okay, I love this. This is amazing. And then I want to create something in the world of fitness too. But we were watching this, and we are doing this for the first time on a higher level at this event. And we started shooting, of course, with our hunters, etc., weeks ago. So it will be a little bit the way to the World Championships, and then the event itself, but also explaining Hyrox and everything. So we are doing this. This is where we put the most effort in at this event. So we have a lot of camera people, but they're shooting it, and it will come out on ESPN in the US, for instance. But I think it will be aired like in about 4 weeks.
The stream or the documentary?
The documentary.
Wow.
Stream is tomorrow.
Wow. Hey, this year's we'll talk about Hunter in a minute. Are these the people doing the stream? Obstacle Racing Media?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they're coming from, it was coincidence. Matt picked it up very early. He loves it. He runs this, also it's a podcast and the platform, and they are doing the stream.
Okay, I don't see it on here. The next event they have is May 22nd. Okay. I need to figure this out where
Yeah, I
I
think
can
they're
watch this.
using it's a little different route of him, so which is specifically done for Hyrox. You'll
Okay.
find the link on our Hyrox social media platforms. You will it come up. It will be there tomorrow.
Is this a Stream Elite Race 12?
No, that's old. That was one thing a special event we did during the pandemic when we couldn't
Oh,
have normal events. So
yes,
we
I
did,
see it. I
we did
found
it.
it.
Yeah,
I found it.
very good.
I apologize for not being more prepared.
Well, no, we have to do a better job that you find it in an instant click. That's it.
It,
Yeah.
okay, I'm putting a link down here just so you guys know in the comments. And I will also put a link. Wow, this is really cool. We'll give this a thumbs up already. Look, there's a set a reminder. Okay.
Yeah, it's great to watch because we are still on the search. Everyone is asking us what is a perfect athlete, and we're still they come from different backgrounds, right? Miriam from Raw, you see that she's currently the European champion from Europe. She's actually also an amazing CrossFit athlete, and she started to pick Hyrox up. And she comes from that background. You have Hunter, who comes from all kinds of backgrounds, but you have also like Dylan Scott or some guys like Tobias Lautwein he was coming from obstacle race. No, he was a professional cyclist. Then he picked up obstacle racing, and now he's a Hyrox athlete. So it's interesting to see at some point, which I think you have seen in CrossFit as well. I think in the next years we will see that athletes come, young athletes that actually train Hyrox, and specifically for the past already 3, 4, 5 years. So you have a very special education and talent to be really good at this sport. But it's already amazing how competitive it got to make it into the Elite 15. So it was a race.
Yeah,
at every
I
event.
agree.
After every event, the list changed, and we thought at the beginning of the season you need to do a 102 to qualify for this race, and now we are almost at sub 1 hour, which
Crazy.
was in the beginning we thought this is a barrier which barely someone can do, and now we have already 8 athletes that do a 1 hour race, and I mean Hunter crushing it with 55:09, which I thought we will not see before in 4 more years or something. So it's unbelievable.
Michael Sambach is on there twice. Make a note to your YouTube guy. I'm just joking. I'm just joking, Christian.
No, you're right. That's definitely not correct.
Christian,
2 times 15, so he's forgets the last one. He's number 14 with his qualifying time.
This kid right here, Tim Winish, he's 16 to 24. That's the category. That's the age range, 16 to 24 years old.
Yes, you have to be 16 years old for liability reasons to do it.
Okay, and then 24, and then after 24, there's a 25 to 29, and then then there's a 30 to 34 where the champ sits, and then there's a 35 to 39. But all of these guys, so this Tim kid looks like the future.
Yes, he is exactly that example. He's something like 22, 23. He's already doing Hyrox for 3 years, and he's not training anything else. He's studied or still studies sports science. He's very analytic in what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he looks like, also when you see him next to Hunter, you think these are different breed of people. I mean,
Athlete. Okay.
He's more a skinny, very normal looking guy. Not like the bike pony. But that's the interesting part, that you have, and Toby is more a skinny guy, right? And you can't believe that he can push the sled almost in the same as fast as Hunter can do that.
Is this the champ? Is this the guy who won last year? Who got
Correct.
sick? Okay.
Yeah, correct. He does the farmer's carry most of the time faster than Hunter.
Crazy.
He's doing it unbroken, but you see his skinny arms, you think it's unbelievable. But that's the interesting part. You have very different athletes from the body shape at the race line tomorrow. So from like more like muscular, more bulky CrossFit athletes to very skinny runners, triathletes, obstacle racing background athletes. And that's the interesting part when it comes together, why the race goes up and down usually, because the strong guys goes lead after the sled, but then the skinnier guys come and they run faster and they keep up again. Like Dylan Scott is like, he's an American. He looks also very different. He's more like the skinny type of athlete. That's also interesting. So what in the end will be the most efficient way? It's still a lot of running as well, right? So you have to carry your muscles around 8 kilometers. It's all about balancing it out. It might be a bit too heavy, etc.
Strength to weight ratio.
But Hunter Hunter thought, oh, I'm the best in this game. We wanted to talk about Hunter. He came in. I have to say, I also thought, oh, it looks like we created it for Hunter as a whole. The whole competition, the way how it is, the lengths, the combination of workouts. So he came in. He was dominating it, and then it was funny. So last year or this past season, you had suddenly all the other guys doing their homework, right? And Hunter said, "Oh, I'm the strong guy. No one can beat me." He did other stuff. He got bigger actually. He became 200 pounds plus. And then he came to our World Championships in Leipzig last summer, and he lost for the first time. He lost a Hyrox race to Tobias Lautmann. Actually, he came in fourth. 2 other guys overtook him. Then he came to the North American Championships, and Ryan Kent was crushing him in that race. And then he realized, oh, it's not that easy. I can't win it if I'm 200 pounds plus. So I have to do my homework. So he really shaved off, I think, 10, 15 pounds and 190 something, low 190s. He's in amazing shape, and then that's why he could then come back and do this new world record time of 55:09, which is absolutely crazy.
Savage, completely savage. He wasn't. I spoke to him the day after he set that world record, and he was in a weird spot. I mean, that really drained him of everything.
Yeah, I know. I think he didn't expect that time.
Yeah.
To be honest. But I mean, I have to say this. Look about Hunter. I'm in the world of sport. I was in the world of Olympics, like I said, for 25 years. I've seen a lot of athletes, the best cyclists in the world, the best triathletes, the best, like almost in every sport. I really believe that Hunter McIntyre is one of the most leading athletes in the world in his ballpark. Of course, he will never win the CrossFit Games. And I know there was a lot of talking about him when he got the wild card at the Games. He's still reasonably good in CrossFit, which is the amazing part. But of course,
I think that there's a very strong argument that Hunter McIntyre is the fittest man on the planet. I think there is a very strong argument.
Yeah, it's a guy who can still at least go to a CrossFit competition and is not finishing last, and he can lift at these weights. But I think his PB time on 10-kilometer running is 32 minutes something, which is absolutely insane. Like a guy of that big that has that cardio ability. I've never seen this before.
Well, even if you did this, Christian, so in the early days, what they did was the very first CrossFit Games, they just put balls in a machine and they turned it, and then they picked out the ball and read the workout. There is a very strong argument that if you did that game using CrossFit workouts and you put Hunter McIntyre in there against the best in the world, there's a very good chance he wins. If you just randomly pick 10 things, that you would have to be insane to choose against him. You would have to be insane because he's so fit. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But like I said, if he's lucky and you don't pick handstand walk, whatever, 100 yards, which he has his weaknesses, because this is where you really need to really very specifically train for that for a very long time.
Right.
I think that's also where he failed at the Games with his wildcard appearance. No, I totally agree with you. So look, if Hunter would have.
But I don't know if you could say that about. Sorry to interrupt. I don't know if you can say that about the rest. If someone beats his time in Hyrox, let's say, like I don't know the other guys, but I don't know if you can say that about the other guys. I guess is what I'm
No,
saying.
the other guys already more specialized on Hyrox.
Yeah,
They definitely have no chance in doing. If you put them into a CrossFit competition, they
yeah,
probably can't do 50% of the workouts. It's
okay,
a different kind of athlete, and
right,
that's also not that never was a goal or whatever. It's like
sure,
I always explain people. It's like if you want to compare a 100-meter runner and a 5,000-meter runner, it doesn't make any sense.
right,
It's a completely different athlete. I mean, they both run. It looks very much. It's exactly the same movement, but it's 100% different. So it looks like a CrossFit event, but if you want to be on the top of your game, and Hunter is the absolutely rare exception, you have to be specialized because you are a different shaped athlete, right? If you want to be,
right,
if you crush these times, you have to look different because you can't run around with that amount of muscles. You will never be fast enough in the run. So you have to find this perfect balance of still being able to push the sled, but also crushing the runs and everything. So it's a different approach, and we are just at the beginning. A sport like this, and you've seen this in CrossFit, it gets more and more sophisticated, right? The training, the programming, the way how to train for that. We were talking to Invictus and CJ Martin. He was in LA with a big group of from his gym. Amazing. I think they came with like 50 athletes.
yeah. He has a great community. They always travel in a big group. Yeah,
And he loves it. And he says, I have no idea in the moment how to do the programming for that. I have to learn it now. I have to see it and I have to start building it because it requires a different kind of training.
right.
Of course, it's more running, it's more cardio, it's, but he loves it. He thinks it's amazing. It's opening it up for new, different kind of people, potential members to his gym. And he will become a great partner in the future with Invictus. They are working on a Hyrox program as well, which they want to launch in the near future. I guess for next season. So that's great. But you see, it's a different approach to fitness.
Is Chris Hinshaw at the event this weekend in Vegas?
No, we had a plan to bring him out, but then we thought we couldn't find the right format.
Okay.
Where we thought it makes sense.
But he is a friend of yours. You're starting to work with him. Is that correct?
That's correct. Look, he is actually this running coach, right? I have to say, we are an endurance strength event. So running is a very, very important part. But that's interesting because it's new, because we created something that wasn't existing. That's exactly the game here. How much running you do to not lose too much of your muscles. And then you fail with the workout. So what is the perfect balance? Do you need to do just 400-meter interval runs, or do you need also sometimes to run 10 kilometers, and how you mix that, etc.? That's interesting. Hunter he created his own theory to be that good in this sport. So apparently, when you look at his time, he's doing a lot of things right.
Yes.
And he has a very, very clear methodology now he developed to how he trains for that. So he's creating blocks, like running blocks and strength blocks. He has a different approach to that, but we will see. That's the interesting part also. How do you approach that from the training aspect? What's the best way to do it?
Do the athletes ever touch each other, Christian? Like, what happens if is there, when you start this top 15 event at 6 p.m. tomorrow, will they all be on the starting line together?
Yes.
So they will, at that point, they'll be touching each other. They'll be shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. It's like a horse race, it's like, who gets in the best position right after the start line. So there will be some elbows and everything to and maybe but it's everyone is very close. It's very intense, especially at the beginning before the race stretches out a little bit. But they are so close, all the guys. It will be amazing to see, and the girls. There's like 2-3 minutes in the qualifying times, right? From maybe only Hunter is a little bit outside of the other times in the moment, but we will see what he can bring to the racetrack tomorrow.
The second event is the sled push after the run, erg run, and then sled push. When they get to the sled, what happens if they all show up there at the same time?
That's not a problem. We have 30 lanes, or tomorrow 15.
Oh, okay.
Everyone has their individual lane. That's actually how the event works. So it's a very, very based on stats and statistics and mathematics. So we kick off. We have 4,000 athletes, right, in London, for instance, where it's almost like already exploding. So it only works, and everyone. That's the number one most important rule, that we have to manage it in a way that not a single athlete ever has to wait at any workout, because in that moment, it wouldn't be a legit competition anymore.
Right.
Because you have to wait. You either have rest time, which other don't have, or you lose time because you have to wait. So, and it works that we start in waves, right, of 30 athletes or 40.
Right.
For the regular events with all the age groups. And that's why we need this massive amount of space, because we are creating this arena for fitness gladiators, which is massive. It's 2-3 times bigger than like a CrossFit setup at the games, for sizing wise.
Yeah,
right?
You said the smallest is 100,000 square feet. That's amazing.
Yeah. That's already like 2 football pitches or 3. So because we need that space, because we have like 40 lanes of sleds. So when you come to the workout station, and we have judges there and people that guide you to the next free sled. And that's when you do it. But because the wave size, and every 10 minutes we kick off a new wave, we know how many stations we need that not a single athlete ever has to wait. It works really amazingly well. We had only really very, very, very few moments, but that was just human failure, not that the concept doesn't work. So accidentally, too many people are entering the wrong start wave or whatever. So suddenly you have too many people, not 40 running off. You have suddenly 45 running off. That can create a problem. But it's usually very much in hand, and
I have to see this thing. I can't wait to go to one. What a show it must be to see that.
Yeah, unfortunately, where are you based? Santa Cruz.
I'm in Santa Cruz. It's my fault. Your team was very generous. They reached out to me. Yeah. They invited me. They set everything up for me. I'm just I'm a bump on a log. I have these. I have 3 little. Do you have kids, Christian?
Yes, 2.
How old are your kids?
18 and 20.
Ah, okay. Mine are. I have 2 that are 5. Yeah.
I'm done with that. Actually, my son is just finishing high school, and then I'm free. I can no summer holidays anymore. Like school holidays, I'm not bound to school holidays anymore.
Yes.
So,
do you travel to all? Do you travel to all 30 events?
No, I can't do that. That's too much.
Yeah, sounds crazy.
No, I don't do this. I go to, of course, to a lot of events, but not all 30.
Do you mostly do the ones in Europe? Stay over there?
No, I come to a lot of US events. I usually go to every event that's new. When we do in a new city, we do
inaugural. Yeah.
First time, I go there, and I go to the national championships, the regional championships, and world championships, and I pick. For whatever different reasons, maybe I have to meet sponsors, clients, people, so I go to this event. But I don't go to every event, and I will definitely not go to 54 events next season.
Yeah, that's absolutely nuts. If anyone wants to watch this, and I'm going to be watching it, the YouTube, all you have to type in is Hyrox, Hyrox World Championships. It starts at 6 p.m. tomorrow, and it's on YouTube. And as I'm watching here, more and more people are getting on and waiting, and they're starting to. The first comment on here is "Let's go Hunter," and it. And if you're in Vegas, you might as well go over to the convention center and check this thing out. And like he said, they have beer and wine. I really like that.
Yeah. No gambling, but it's just.
Hey, don't tell us what to do, Christian. We're free Americans. We'll gamble if we want to. Please don't tell us what to do.
Yeah, sports betting, right? Sports booking.
If I see a guy next to me and he wants to bet, we'll bet. Don't tell us what to do. We'll do what we want to do.
Okay.
When you go to all of these cities, is there do you ever get a chance? Do you ever get to play tourist? Do you get to go to the beach? Do you get to go to the museums? Do you get to get like? What's your favorite thing to do when you go to these cities? Do you get to go to your favorite bar, restaurant? Like, what do you do at these places?
Yeah, indeed. It depends where you are. Sometimes there is no beach, so that's the point.
That's a shame.
I always go at least. I always go around in the city. So the good thing or the nice thing about Hyrox events, we usually are doing it on Saturday.
Okay.
So which I love because I was hating it. I was always producing marathons and triathlons. They're always on Sundays. So you fly to a great city, but you're participating. So it's not the time to go out and have a great night in London Saturday night when you're racing on Sunday. So
right.
And Sunday night is not the most exciting night to go out. And so I like,
especially if you're flying out Monday, right?
Yeah, exactly. Most people all fly even out on Sunday. So we have now a larger group of people that do all these great city hopping because they, like I said, they go to Berlin, crazy city, super, I mean, amazing, best nightlife in the world. But you come in on Friday, you have a quiet night on Friday, you do your race on Saturday, and then you go to the Berghain Saturday night, which is great. And then you walk around the city, and I always do that. Yeah, we are in so much of amazing cities and picturesque, large, big, Amsterdam, Madrid, but also Maastricht is beautiful, small town. Yeah, and then I walk around. I try to find a nice restaurant or maybe some museums or whatever you can do. And I always walk in gyms when I'm in the cities to see what kind of great gyms they have.
I get the impression from the little bit of research that I did on you that you don't have to be working anymore, that you've been successful, that you're independently wealthy, you have investments. Why are you pushing? Why are you continuing? What drives Christian? Why are you doing this?
Oh, I only do it because I really, really love creating that and doing that. It's a young team. I see all these people coming. It's like you are an architect and you create a building and it's there. And so now I don't work just because I need the money, and which gives you an amazing amount of freedom to select to only do and work in a way that you think you feel 100% comfortable with that. So I don't need to be 16 hours in the office every day because someone is pushing me. You know, if I do this, I only do it because I think it makes sense and I like to do that. No, I do it because I love doing things and I want to go on. I'm not the type of person that is looking for retirement. I want to be more like, I mean, there are people that work until they're 85 or something. They never stop, right?
Right.
Especially more, whatever, you do something more creative or whatever.
Right.
No, I don't feel any kind of stress or that I feel any kind of pressure anymore. I'm totally free of that. It's so amazing to create this, and it's like a child dream. You know, you create your own new sport, and you are in the middle of that. That drives me every day, and it's great. And we have a great team. It's not me. You know, I'm the old guy. Everyone is younger in the whole organization, almost. No, actually everyone. So this is ridiculous, and I'm participating in a lot of events, and this is a great thing. Also, I can race for free. I don't have to pay the entry fee.
You said the same thing about opening a bar. You get to drink for free.
That's one of the reasons why I opened the bar. Honestly, I said I always wanted to have a bar because I think, I can go there every day and I'll get everything for free. And I always get a table. That's why I started a restaurant, so I don't need to wait. I always have my free table.
What city is home? What city is home for you?
Hamburg.
And is that always going to be home? Have you ever thought about moving elsewhere in the world?
It sounds boring. I really literally lived for my whole life in Hamburg, but I am, because of all my jobs, I'm since 30 years, I'm actually traveling a lot. So I'm not, it's my home base, but I'm not spending 300 days a year in Hamburg. So I'm everywhere in the world, and I need that. I can't be longer than, it's very rare that I'm more than 4 weeks in a row just in Hamburg. So I take my family. I always did, also when the kids were younger. In the moment they had school holidays or whatever, I took them and we go and we stay sometimes in America, or we go in the UK, or so. I'm a pretty international, multicultural person, so I liked, but it's great to go home to something where you know everything and you know everyone in the city, and it's kind of it's
base.
always coming home, but it's great also to go away and to see something new.
When did you learn English? How old were you?
Oh, I don't know. We learn it at school, right? It's the first thing you learn. You have to do that. Now I have to say, when I finished school, my English was really bad. I had to learn it. So I actually stayed almost a year in New York City when I was very young. Spent all my money. Had a great time though. It was this.
That's where your tradition of going to the bars started.
Yeah, that was when New York City was really great still. And I mean, from the part, you know what I mean? Like it was just started. It was 93. It was great. Meatpacking district was at that time really the meatpacking district still, and I loved it. It was still more edgy and more dirty, and not now everything is shiny and everything is clean and nice. So Berlin is a little bit like this. It's also changing now. It was, since when the wall came down, Berlin was the best place in the world to be out.
There's a lot of doomsday scenarios out there. There's nuclear war, there's global warming, there's pandemic, there's all of these threats.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that the only serious threat to humanity is nutrition. I see it everywhere around me. My country is collapsing under the weight of its own people. I don't say this lightly. They're deranged in their thought process by the consumption of poor nutrition. They're extremely limited in their movement and their capacity. They are. It would almost be too kind to say that they're a disgrace to the expression of their DNA. And that if there were a God and I were to come down and see the gift given to the planet that I gave these humans, and what they are, how they're treating the planet, how they're treating themselves on the planet, I find it unfathomable. Do you have an opinion on the health of the world as a whole? Like by health, I mean movement, nutrition. I'm not talking about these other things like war and pandemic and rising waters.
Of course I have my opinion, but look, I totally 100% agree. I think, that's why it's nutrition, it's healthy. Find a healthy way of living, of lifestyle. Look, I'm 54. I'm reasonably fit. I work out 5 times a week. That at the same time keeps me, I can do everything I did 30 years ago. I can also still go to the club and party. Right. And I don't need to recover for 2 weeks because I think my body still is working on a reasonable capacity. I'm not overweight. I think, and all these aspects, I think that's why it's great to create these kind of products, because we want to motivate people, right? To have a motivation to go to the gym and to care about their nutrition. And this is honestly the great thing about when these mass participation events came around. It started with marathon running, and then triathlon and cycling and CrossFit and obstacle racing, and now Hyrox. And I've seen it several times. So people, they sign up for one of these events. You change the way how you approach training, how you approach nutrition. Suddenly you care about nutrition. Right?
Yeah. That's what happened to me. Yeah. I smoked cigarettes and then I started CrossFit, and I quit smoking because of CrossFit. Not because smoking was bad for you. It didn't mix with CrossFit. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why, because it's weird, but suddenly we are like, oh, no, I have to be on the start line. I have to be in a better shape. I don't
Yeah.
want to suffer. I don't want to be the last person finishing the finish line. So it drives people in a very, very amazing way to live a better life. And I mean, this is the reason why we do this. And it comes automatically, you know, and the community is dragging other people in that are saying, oh, no, I'm a couch guy. I don't do anything. Potato chips. I just watch sport on television. And they say, come on, let's join us. Let's do it together. Do a double, right? And suddenly there's amazing stories of people that find Hyrox and then they lose 50 pounds, and suddenly you can't believe that these are the same people. Or suddenly
I bet you someone cries at every event you do.
Maybe, yeah, for sure.
Out of happiness. I bet you at that finish line, there's someone who cries. There's someone who recovered from cancer. There's someone who lost 50 pounds. There's someone who's fat who did it, and their family's there waiting for them, and they hug them. And I bet you that's phenomenal.
No, we had the most amazing, touching stories, and not the 55-minute guys.
Right. Of course not. Of course not. Yeah. 2 hours on their feet, warring. Yeah.
Guys that are crossing the finish line. We had this. And then you have, as you say, you have the whole family, and these guys are in tears that they think, now I changed my life, and but that drives you again to do. Oh, we have to continue to do that, because you see what you give back to these people. So it's worth every minute we put in hard work into this product. I think, no, I 100% agree. Obesity, all this sugar shit, all, like, you know, all these brands are so good in pushing us to consume not the right stuff. And it's all marketing tricks, right? I mean, also all this bio product, which was a great idea in the beginning, but now everything is bio. And it's when you read the ingredients, it's also full of sugar and everything. So, but this, I think, no, I 100% agree that this is something that we really have to change. On the other hand, I think especially the pandemic has changed a lot of the mindset of people.
God, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I hope so too, but people forget quick as well. But I think there is definitely more people now caring about, how do I eat? How do I live? How do I work out? But that doesn't mean you don't have fun, you know?
Of course.
Life is here to have fun. It's not about to live like a very puristic life and you punish yourself every day, but not doing things. It's always a mix of everything. It's again like Hyrox. Find a perfect mix of how many workouts, how long you want to run. It's the same thing, how much you party, how much you drink, how much you don't drink. Yeah, and how much when you eat healthy, and how much, and maybe sometimes, of course, you can eat a burger, or you can go to McDonald's. It's just not good if you go every day. That's really bad for your body and for yourself. So
you see this the Olympics is such a tragedy in this respect. Without the poisons of humanity, the Olympics does not exist. In the formation that we know it, without Coca-Cola sponsorship, which I would consider, I have to assume that Coca-Cola is probably, 55% of the calories in Mexico are soda pop.
Soda pop, yeah, I know. I heard that.
And it's just mind-boggling to me. What made me think of all of this is that you have 2 kids, and when I worked for CrossFit, I was so proud of my job, because it's like being a firefighter, right? You can tell your kids, every morning I wake up and I save someone's life. And when you work for Hyrox, you wake up every morning and you know that you are extending someone's life longer than it would have been.
It's very true.
And that's our job.
Exactly. No, 100%. I can't say it in a better way.
Whereas if you work at Coca-Cola or you're an Olympian, you're claiming to be the greatest shot putter in the world, but you were the vehicle for sharing poison and hurt and pain. It's kind of batshit crazy.
Yeah, I have to say, But there's always like you have this financial
I agree. I
pressure.
don't have the answer. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because sometimes you have to accept something because you also to bring the product to the people. You also need to find the money to do that.
And I'm not blaming Coke, but individuals need to take responsibility. I'm not blaming Coke,
That's
by the way.
what I mean is you can push the companies to do better. Will come around with better products and different products. But of course, we know it. Why is Coke sponsoring the Olympic Games? Because they want to give the perception that even the best Olympians in the world, the fittest people of the world, are so fit, even they drink Coca-Cola. And so people think, so it can't be that bad.
And recently, CrossFit was sponsored by Coca-Cola, one of or Pepsi, one of their drinks, Monster Energy drink, and a lot of people got upset. But I understand why you're upset. But the athletes have to make money. I cannot blame the athletes or the organization. Now the thing is you want to be able to tell the truth, right? You don't want to stand up there as Christian and be like, drink this Coke if you want to win the Hyrox games. You want to be able to be honest. You want to be able to be like, hey, they sponsor us, but I wouldn't drink this shit. As long as you can be honest, I guess, and you're free to have integrity.
Again, for me, it's always the balance is the key thing here. Look, everyone can drink a Coke from time to time. It will not be bad. It's bad if you drink,
if you have them in your refrigerator, it's bad
every day, and you drink nothing else. Then it's really, really bad for yourself. It's always about the right mix of things, and so I'm not just blaming these brands because though I would not. I'm not picking these kind of products for myself, of course. I don't do that. But we have to teach people to find a good balance of these things and to understand why it's not.
You don't want your son drinking Coke. Like, I don't want my right. But I mean, that's
still avoid that he sometimes you know how it is, how kids are. If you say it's not allowed, it's not allowed, they want it more and more. Because it's not allowed. It's illegal. So or you say no, you are not allowed to do that.
But it's kind of like that's a good litmus test. What you want for your kids. If you saw if an elderly man were walking towards a door, you would want your son to hold the door open for him. There's things you want your kids to do and not do. You're not proud of your kid when you find out they were throwing rocks at cars on the freeway, but kids do that shit. Right. But and the same with Coke. You don't want that's a great litmus test. Hey, is that shit bad for you? Would you want your kids doing it?
No, of course. But I have to say, I'm so proud of my kids and all her friends. I see a real shift. Like all the friends of my daughter, I say that like almost everyone is a vegetarian now.
Wow.
And not because I told them or her, and she started this when she was 15 or something. And I was not the guy who said, you are not allowed to eat meat anymore, because she made it up on herself, because they started to learn at school, all the bad impact for emission and whatever, and all these, and how we treat animals, etc., just to get this crazy amount of meat. And that was a point where she said, I don't want to eat meat anymore. And that was amazing, I think. And this young generation, and we were not thinking a single second about that when I was young, in that age, right? It was not a topic at all. They care so much more about these things. It's my impression, at least with my kids and in the environment my kids were growing up, that they have a different approach to this, and they know much better what is good and what is not good, and why they are not doing the things. It's also, everything it's shifting. They are so environmentally sensible about stuff. They are not. The first thing we did was, I need a driver's license. I need a driver's license. I need a car. I need to drive a car. They don't care. Both of my kids don't have a driver's license because they take their bikes, and they also have a little bit the feeling that it's not good for the human mankind if everyone drives everything with a car and every 5 meters, and that's very interesting. So I think there is a change because the education is better, and we, of course, but we have to be the good example for our kids for sure. I mean, if
Right.
you,
I hope your children will be open enough as they get older to think to be aware that the vegetarian thing might be propaganda. I hope that they will.
yeah,
I hope they
I,
will be very. I hope they will be very open. I was a vegan and vegetarian also, and now as I'm older and I'm starting to see the world. We're not going to debate nutrition here. I appreciate people trying different things, but I hope that they will also be open to see that those of the people who are educating us can be misleading
no,
on accident.
agree. When vegan, etc., becomes also a marketing game now, in a in this sort of a thing. So brands picking it up, pushing it. However, everything I know about nutrition is that to be a vegetarian, so you eat fish but no meat, and
Mm-hmm.
so, or you call it pescatarian then, right?
Yes.
There are ways in the middle that I think are really, in the end, really healthier. But again, it's all about balancing yourself. If you eat meat from time to time, and not every day and up and down and all these sausages, the stuff, etc. I think that's the best way for your nutrition. But look, yeah, it's a long discussion. But again, I want to come back to what you said. That's why we create events like Hyrox, and that's why we want to motivate more and more and more people to do it. And create this global community, which is growing, because then we know these people definitely will have a longer expectation of life, and that's a great side effect of what we're doing here.
Hey, are any of your champions vegetarians?
For sure, Hunter not, I know. For sure not. But yeah, I think many of the girls and some of the guys for sure.
Amazing. I'm 6 p.m. tomorrow night. You don't have to wait till 6 p.m. You can go if you're in Vegas, or if you want to get online sooner than that. But the World Championships, and those of us who many of us know Hunter McIntyre. What a fun thing to do, to watch him tomorrow night, 6 p.m. You can go straight to YouTube. Type in Hyrox World Championships, and or if you're in Vegas, go check out the Las Vegas Convention Center. Christian, one final thing. Tell me about the name Hyrox. Where did that come from?
Everyone is asking me.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it has absolutely no meaning.
Okay.
We had to make up a name that so suddenly you immediately are back to commercial aspects. We had to find a name we can protect and we can trademark. Which is almost impossible when you use anything of fitness or whatever, because everything is already protected in every thousand and every version and everything of it. So we had a creative process, and we wrote down names what we think where we thought there is a fit to Hyrox. And so we had hybrid, because we are kind of a hybrid event of running and workouts. And we thought rockstar is the cool word. And then start writing it with an X, and then we're putting the parts of the words together, and bang, with a lot of beers, and one night we had Hyrox.
Let's start a rumor that it's like some sort of Illuminati or secret society that speaks to aliens.
Right.
And that this is actually just a it's parading as a fitness event, but this is where people come and talk to the aliens. And Hyrox, when you make those sounds with your tongue, it summons them. Let's start some sort of.
But like I said, it's hybrid and rockstar, and then you put some of the letters together, you end up with
I like
Hyrox.
it. Yeah, hybrid and rockstar.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it. That's how we call our finishers. They are rock stars.
They are. Brother, thank you so much. Thanks for telling us a little bit about your life. Congratulations on the event. You are a gift to humanity.
Thank you very much.
When
you race, I will be next to you at the start line. I promise.
Thank you. And I have to get the last word. Let's not forget. I have 100 fruit trees in my backyard, and if it wasn't for cows, they would not be growing as well as they are, because I need that cow shit. So I just wanted to give one final love to cows.
To cows. No, we don't want to. We don't want to get rid of the cows. Don't take me
Good.
wrong.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank
everyone.
you. I know you have a busy day. You gave us an hour and a
Yes.
half of your time. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you very much, Stefan. It was amazing. Let's stay in touch. And
Okay, I will be in touch. Thank you.
time.
Tell Keith thank you.
Never stop competing.
Yes, of course.
Cool. All
Okay.
right.
Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Sevon is an onion. I like onions. I love cows. Attaboy, Sevon. Thanks. I saw some comment in here. I want to beat one of your asses. Hold on. Sevon's very professional and courteous right now. I like this version of Sevon. Sam, blow me. Sevon eats me. That's all I eat. I can't see. There's a nuance here, right? I care what people think. By the way, that's a cool dude. I would tear it up with that guy. That guy's cool as shit. Christian. That's a successful man we were talking to. I care what people think. Like, I care what you think. Like, if you think it's cool, like, I don't know, eating wine glasses, just one of those people that eats glass. Like, I care what you think. I just try not to react to it. I assess it. I assess it. I'm not going to change what I'm doing just because you think one thing. Thank you, Sam. I apologize for that attack. I think Sevon is handling this well. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, your wife looks hot. That photo. Sevon is going to waver his values and morals and belief. Isn't. No, not really. Oh my goodness. I want to say thank you to this guy, Jean Clark, for the 450 and sterlings. Just dropping in to drop some cash for the best show on YouTube, then going back to coaching. Hope you guys are well. Thanks, dude. I honestly sincerely appreciate money all the time. Man, tonight's show is going to be fun, right? So basically what I've done is I kind of had this Hiller's just tearing this shit up, right? He's producing what's he doing? He's producing just a shit ton of content. He's putting out content every single day now. And so I thought one of the things that I would do, or that I would want to do to piggyback off of what he's doing is watch every week, try to watch all of his videos or a handful of his videos. And then on Friday nights, like with him, do a recap. So, hey, you said, and I took a shitload of notes. So I'll give you an example of what I think the show is going to be like tonight. Hiller episode Friday. So in that video, like, so he made a he said something about Donald Trump Jr. said he did the Murph in 30 minutes. I'll talk about that. Hey, is that really true? Did Donald Trump say that? That was in the Buttery Bros video he made. He talked about Katrin snatch, but when I watched the video, I didn't see an example of her snatch being bad. So we'll talk about that. Then he said it's good that she left Ben Bergeron. I couldn't tell if that was a joke or serious. I want to talk about the blue sweater he wore in the May 8th video. I think it makes his body and shoulders kind of look nice. We'll talk about that. It's the best 5 finishes show. He did a show this week about the closest finishes in CrossFit. And I wanted to tell him the argument for the Bridges and Froning finish for being, I think, number one is because of Bridges' celebration. But Hiller says something really interesting in that video. He says, what was the criteria they used for choosing what are the best finishes in CrossFit? And it's a fascinating thought that he's saying, because we can't even figure out the criteria they use for judging open workouts. Or for placing people in semifinals. And Hiller's asking what's the criteria for choosing the closest finishes. So I think that's funny, and I think him and I will have fun talking about that. And then the list goes on and on. He has a programming he offers. He doesn't advertise it. I don't know why, but he's a legit coach, and you can go to him and get his programming. So I'll talk to him about that. We'll look at that tonight. We'll go through all his videos. His hip and steel video has 30,000 views and 20,000 views. Why so much? Why does the old white guy get so many views? So I'd like to hear his explanation on that. We'll talk about media, how he cuts the videos, the equipment he uses, and then of course this other thing unfolding around Tommy and Shawnee that's just fucking hilarious. I don't know why those guys keep stepping on their own dicks. But we'll definitely talk about that. I did watch that video. Someone sent me a link to that unlisted video of theirs, and man, what the only thing I think is I wonder if they really think that stuff that they say. I think that they do, but there was a lot of weird inconsistencies in it. I think either they're broken or I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know what's going on with Tommy and Shawnee. But it seemed kind of ridiculous to poke the bear again. I had addressed all of those things they had ever said ever before. Anyway, we'll get into it tonight. It'll be funny. It'll be pretty funny. But it's probably not a good idea just to sit over in your house and throw rocks at me and Hiller. I just don't. I don't think it's nice. I don't think it's nice to do. If it was for comedic sake, I would understand it. I don't mind the comments that, hey, he's a crybaby who's making $500,000 a year and now he got fired, so he's just over there complaining. Like at least that is like specific. Like but this other shit that's like trying to define media, and then everything in your video is the opposite of your definition, and you're preaching that to a guy who I ran the CrossFit Journal, 10,000 pieces, which is basically the foundation of everything in the community that we know today. I mean, you're it's like it felt like a chihuahua telling a wolf what a dog is. Those guys are just chihuahuas, but we'll get into it tonight. I'm sure it's going to be fun. I don't think Andrew takes it very seriously either. I think he's having fun, but I'm curious to talk to him and dig in. Anyway, we'll get to it. Love you guys. Great show. It was kind of the president's. What a crazy week. We had Halbert on, Jared Halbert from Tactical Games. We had Jason McCarthy on from GoRuck, and then we had this Christian Toetzke. That was the total accident, but kind of a fun, like the CEOs, founders week. It was awesome. Corey Leonard, $5. Oh, and you guys are bitching about me taking callers. All you guys hate it when I take callers. Like, why? Yeah, I would go back. Here's the thing. There's something. Basically, what's happening here is the George Floyd era is over. There was 2 years of just like total victocracy. Just everything was pussified in the company. It was just completely sold out. It was just complete hypocrites. Everything was the opposite of what's being said. And between kind of what Hiller in the videos I'm making, there's some sort of revolution that's occurred, and we're kind of the only people you guys have who are trying to shoot straight, right? We're trying to just fucking give it to you real. And so there's a popularity in a very active group of people who are like, fuck, thank God someone's saying this shit. And so they're finally pushing back at CrossFit. But the egos at CrossFit are so fucking massive. Like, it's never good to have people like Hiller and I on the outside of your fence. You just don't want to do that. You don't. And for that was another thing that they said in the video, for them to think that I don't work hard. I don't do research. I don't say nice things about the community. I mean, you can see the 400 or 500 videos I've made in the last year. That's more content than they've made in their entire career combined. And I think everyone knows that I do massive research on all my guests, like absurd amounts. And the quality, I would put up any interview that I've done with, pick your athlete, Pat Vellner, against any interview they've done with Pat Vellner. So the whole thing is absurd, but yet CrossFit tries to keep those guys on the inside and us on the outside. Would I go back inside the fence? Maybe. I mean, I would never say no to anything, but I'm living a really good life. And I see what happened to them. You know, they did, that does not look fun what they're having to do. uh, and this is another thing, and I'll talk about this tonight with Hiller too. But you have to remember that I didn't start this. Basically, what happened is when the New York Times and people were coming out and going out of their way to try to cancel Greg and making all of these ambiguous statements with no specifics, and that's exactly what Tommy and Shawnee did on the video. Like when you just say stuff that's ambiguous, like, it's vicious, and it's internet bullying. It would be like if I said to someone, hey, don't worry, I'm not going to tell anyone about what you did when you were in Vegas, especially your wife. Like, what if I were to say that about to one of these guys on here, Eric? Hey, Eric, don't worry. And all of a sudden, all of you are like, oh shit, what did Eric do in Vegas? And why isn't Sevan going to tell his wife? Like, that kind of ambiguous reporting, that's just fucking internet bullying. That's just trolling. That's the whole woke bullshit. That's because you're not free to say what you really want to say, and because there's no substance in what you're saying. And so you just have to make hollow threats and ambiguous shit. And that was their whole thing. I mean, I'll give you the most ridiculous thing that was said in there was, Tommy didn't want to ask the hard questions because he wanted to see if other people would ask the hard questions. I was just, when he said that, I was just picturing him and his girlfriend in bed together. They probably haven't had sex in 10 years because he's just waiting to see if she'll make the first move. I mean, I'm just like, come on. You didn't ask the hard questions because you want to see if someone else wanted to ask the hard, like, shut. Does anyone fall for that? So, this all started when the first cancellation happened. The first cancellation, Tommy and Shawnee made a video attacking Dave, and they spent a couple minutes attacking me. And it was Sean, and I think it was, yeah, they both attacked me. But the irony is the shit that, and the irony is that Tommy and Shawnee were saying that Sean doesn't do any attacking. He's above all that. But really, it was they who started it. And it was specifically Sean that said something that made me go, okay, fuck it, I'm going to come full tilt at these goofballs. And what he said was, they were saying that when I did the CrossFit podcast, that they wish they would have stood up against me or stood up and said something that it was inappropriate. Well, if you go back and watch the podcast that I had Shawnee on, and all you have to do is watch the first 20 seconds, you can see that it's a lie. Like, he comes in there and just says, oh, some shit like, go watch it. But it's something I'm paraphrasing, like, oh my God, I've always wanted to be on this podcast. I can't believe I'm in here. Thank you for inviting me. You guys have the most fun of anyone at HQ. I was expecting there to be hooker and blows in here. Meanwhile, we have Kara Hipskin in there, who's a female, who he's presenting himself like he would never say anything like that in front of a woman. And someone wrote in the comments, hey, whether you like Sevan or not, there's not an insincere bone in his body. And they just go, they go on to just destroy Sean. And that's what they started it. They started it again now with the Hiller thing. I'm sure they're going to say ridiculous shit like, well, we didn't know anyone would see it. It was behind our Patreon. I mean, it's just absurd. Oh, so people can only hear you talk shit about me and Hiller and Greg if they pay $5. I mean, like, oh, it's so embarrassing. It speaks volumes of what's going on over there at HQ, though. So, hopefully it'll be fun. Hopefully it'll be funny tonight. I want it to be fun. I want it to be lighthearted. I want it to be funny. I want for those guys to be able to get past this. I don't think there was any beef between me and those guys when we worked at HQ together. Especially Sean. Should we invite Tommy on the show tonight? So, oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. Hey, did part 2 come out? I really want to watch part 2. People fabricate lies about you when there isn't any dirt for them to dig up. Yeah, I mean, the ad hominem thing is real. It's worse than making stuff up. It's just being ambiguous. I mean, the when you're ambiguous like that, that's just all that is. Oh, my mustache is getting killer. All it is just oh, part 2 is out. Oh shit. How is it? Can't wait. Man, the comments were fucking crazy over there. I'm going to Hiller Fit, right? Hiller Fit. How catchy is this opening music? I see stuff like that. It kind of makes me jealous. Like, oh shit, I wish I would have had like music in my hand care for fitness. Nope, that's not the video I want. Oh, part 2. Oh shit. Oh my goodness, these are getting a lot of views. Oh my goodness. Holy cow, 286 comments. Oh man. It's not nice. It's PE for adults. It's really not that serious. Chill. That's a good comment by Steve Cooper. Yeah, this is not nice towards Tommy and Sean. Man. Maybe I should just do a show of just reading these. Holy shit, this is brutal. This is a fucking beatdown. Yeah, I'm gonna watch part 2 now too. Also, Melissa, let me see. I'm gonna watch it now too. Let's see. You guys want to watch a little bit together? Let's see. Watch a little bit together. Okay, let's watch a little bit together. Uh-oh, hold on to your seats. Here's part 2. Oh no. Oh no. I always like the little preview in the beginning here.
Goes back to the whole thing about the quarterfinal stuff. If you're going to complain, you're going to bring up issues, and then you have a chance to ask the questions and get the answers, and you A, don't do it, or B, do it and get the answers, and then you say that answer isn't good enough, then I don't know. Then you're not media. You're a provocateur who's just looking to stir the shit. Pardon me.
Provocateur is a great word for that.
Here we go again, using the words, you're a provocateur, and I guess they're trying to say that they gave me an answer that I...
Oh, wait, can you guys not hear it? Can you guys not hear it? Put it on already. Shit. Can you guys not hear it? All right, fuck you guys. Watch it yourself. Go over to Hiller Fit and let's watch part 2. And check out the complaint counter at the top. Oh, congratulations, Travis, on the shirt sales. I got a note about that. That's crazy too. Okay, I will see you guys tonight at 7 o'clock with Mr. Andrew Hiller, who is coming on the show. I'll talk to you guys later.